first let's talk about how do you overcome overwhelming obstacles. The first step you have to do, friends, and I believe that this is important and I want you to write this down, is take baby steps. Take baby steps in order to achieve the goals that it is you're looking for. You know, one of my favorite movies is a movie with two great actors, Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray, and it's a movie called What About Bob? And I'm sure many of you have heard it and seen it before, and it's where Bill Murray plays a slightly neurotic character in which he has difficulty overcoming his obstacles. I mean, this fella's a mess. He can't go to the restroom. He can't go out to get groceries. He can't do just about anything, you know, without getting himself in the way, without overcoming himself. And his biggest obstacle was fear. You know, fear is something that really subsumes us and really consumes us and puts us in a place where we can't continue to do our best, puts us in a place where we can't continue to manifest the destiny that is us. So how do we overcome that fear? The first thing that I would encourage you to do, folks, is to take baby steps, and that's what Bob had to learn. You know, he followed after Richard Dreyfuss, who was a famous doctor known as Dr. Leo Marvin, and Bob loved his new book called Baby Steps, and he would take baby steps everywhere. Baby steps to the elevator, baby steps to the restroom, baby steps to the doctor. You know, so my point is, friends, you have to learn how to take baby steps if you want to achieve your objective. You know, one of the biggest challenges you're going to face in life is the fact that life itself is hard. Nobody is expecting you to be perfect. If someone's expecting you to be perfect, then my friends, you ought to shake them loose so that you understand, first and most importantly, that the only perfect person in the world certainly isn't you. It's not me, and we don't have all the right answers, but we do have the right answers for ourselves if you just look deep enough within. But you've got to begin by starting out in incremental steps. Incremental baby steps. First you've got to crawl, and then you've got to walk. Then from walking, then you run. You know, I have a toddler child, and he is a handful, to say the least. He's in his terrible twos, and he runs all over the place. He runs, you know, to the door, he runs to the stove, he runs to the kitchen, everywhere he's running. But before he could get to that running stage, he had to first begin by just turning himself over. You follow me? And I'm sure those of you all who are parents really understand what I'm saying. The first thing you've got to do is begin by rocking yourself a little bit. And then he learned, once he started rocking himself, he could actually turn over from his stomach to his back. And then when he learned how to turn over, then he began working on his arm muscles and his leg muscles, and before you know it, he was crawling. After he finished crawling, he went on to the phase of literally walking. One day my wife and I, you know, were watching him play, and then all of a sudden he just started to walk. And that's the beauty of walking. It's done all of a sudden. That's the beauty of success. Success is done all of a sudden. Well, most people think it's all of a sudden, but what they don't realize is that you've been practicing from the beginning. So if you want to overcome your fears, overcome the fear of success, overcome the fear of failure, overcome the fear of all kinds of things that are standing in your way, you've got to begin by taking baby steps. So my son, soon after he began to walk, he began to realize that, you know, once he got his sea legs, he could actually run. And that's when he took off and we couldn't hold him. So my friends, the same thing applies to you. If you want to overcome those obstacles that are standing in your way, you've got to begin by taking those baby steps, things that you could do that aren't so big, but it's part of your goal. Does anybody live on my street?